Hey everyone, time to put on your propeller hats. Let's take a dive down the rabbit hole. Today we're talking about light hacking. Once upon a time, I used to sleep like a baby. I could fall asleep anytime, anywhere. Then this happened to me. Okay, I did not become a woman. However, I was restless. My mind was racing. Sometimes, and more often than not, it would take me 2 or 3 hours to fall asleep at night. I would wake up feeling like I never even went to sleep. Has this ever happened to you? So I tried taking pills to help me fall asleep. The pills that I finally found that really worked, and these worked. They worked really well. A mixture of melatonin and 5-HTP for me was like a knockout punch. I was going to sleep every time when I took those. I tried to only take them after I toss and turn for an hour or two. Sometimes if I knew I had something really big coming up the next day when I really needed sleep. But I did not want to just keep covering up the underlying issue of why I wasn't sleeping just by taking some sort of supplement. Now, these were natural supplements. However, that's not the way I want to live my life, is taking a supplement to cover up the underlying cause of not being able to fall asleep at night. So I ended up doing a whole lot of research. I took a deep dive into sleep research and reading study after study. What do people do to fall asleep at night? Why am I not able to fall asleep at night? And I stumbled across this concept of biohacking. So biohackers learn how to modify the environment around them and the environment inside of them to optimize their own biology, to be healthier, to hopefully extend their health span as well as their lifespan, and to help others around them be healthier based on the techniques they're practicing with their external environment. So as I learned about this world of biohackers and started to really do this deep dive into this concept of biohacking, I found these guys really had a lot of information and a deep knowledge around sleep. And there were some key practices that they showed me that I now use myself to fall asleep at night. So what did I learn? First of all, exposure to bright light at night, especially blue spectrum of light at night, is a type 2A human carcinogen. That means it's a probable human carcinogen. Exposure to light at night is dangerous for us. If we think about all of the things that we've ever been exposed to for the history of mankind, we've been exposed to 2 things at night in terms of light: moonlight and firelight. Whether that was candles, lanterns, fires, or the moon, the light quality was very similar. It was red and yellow infrared light. None of that is present in today's modern technology of LEDs and compact fluorescence. So we're moving to LEDs and CFLs because they're energy efficient. They save us money. Companies, the places we work, the businesses we go into, all of these places are changing to this higher efficiency lighting. And at the same time, that lighting is not producing enough of the red, any of the infrared, or the other spectrums of light that can be healing to the body. They're only producing these artificially created frequencies of usually high spikes of blue light and exposing us to so much more light and so much more blue light than ever in the history we would have been exposed to of mankind. And so with this light at night, we're seeing that shift work is becoming a serious concern for potentially cancer. Exposure to light at night, whether those are your devices, the lighting overhead, your television, because you have to work at night, all of those things are being linked to obesity, heart disease, cancer. Lots and lots of things that we have to be very cognizant about. So this is how we used to live our life, with firelight being the only way for us to see at night. And again, that firelight has the infrared and the red spectrum of light and almost none of the blue spectrum at night. And what happens is when we're exposed to this red and infrared at night, the pineal gland in our brain produces melatonin, a hormone that allows us to fall asleep easy and is responsible for rejuvenation and recovery of our body and mind during sleep. So that melatonin is really critical. What stops melatonin, you ask? Blue light. So all of this processed artificial lighting, from the LEDs and CFLs to the iPads, iPods, laptops, televisions, all of those screens around us, is producing high spikes of blue light, which is shutting down and minimizing the amount of melatonin that our brain naturally produces at night. That means some of us can't fall asleep because we don't have that dose of melatonin to help us fall asleep at night. That means some of us might fall asleep, but not actually get the rejuvenation, the anti-carcinogenic benefits, the other recovery benefits of sleep without that melatonin hormone being present at a high enough level. Those are people like me who used to fall asleep sometimes and wake up after 8 hours and feel like I never even went to sleep. Likely that's the cause of not enough melatonin being produced in my brain to help me recover overnight. So even Harvard has put out a bunch of articles and some research recently about blue light and the spectrum of light that is not necessarily a dangerous light, but when we are chronically exposed to blue light at night, when we never would have been throughout the rest of human history, except for the last decade, maybe decade and a half, that we've begun to put these forms of artificial lights in our homes, workplaces, and businesses. If you think about incandescent lights, those lights becoming illegal, and halogen lights, what we used to use, those had the infrared, the red spectrum of light, and very, very little blue light. Now we're switching over to the more energy efficient lights, and we're being chronically exposed to these lights because we live a lifestyle that has now become indoors. We have become an indoor species, and we are not adapted, nor should we be living indoors under the wrong type of lighting. So as we spend over 90% of our time indoors, now I live in a northern climate, and in the winter, if I get up and I go to my car in the garage and I drive to work, and then I go to work, come home, go to the gym, maybe stop at the store, and then go back home, it's already dark at 4:30 at night. I don't know if I've ever been outside for more than a minute or two. So this 90% statistic might be a little high for some of us, especially in the winter. So think about living our lives indoors, and not only are we being exposed to blue light at night, which can stop our melatonin production, but we're chronically being exposed to blue light because during the day we're working on our computers. We're looking at our phones, we're looking at our tablets, and we're working indoors under processed artificial lighting without the other frequencies of light. Now, the other frequencies, the infrared, near infrared, those frequencies of light can be healing to the body. So blue light is totally fine in the right times of the day under full spectrum sunlight, where it raises your cortisol, it wakes you up, but it also allows in infrared, near infrared, and other frequencies that can be healing to the human body. This is an infographic I picked up that I thought was really good about your devices and other types of blue light affecting the hormones in your body. So this was from Business Insider. You guys can check that out if you would like to look at it further. Now, this is what I'm talking about. I grabbed this off of a really great website showing the different frequencies of light in different bulbs. So you can see at the top, LED and compact fluorescent, CFL and LED, have really large spikes of blue light and zero infrared and near infrared light, and very little red spectrum of light. Whereas when you look at the candlelight and even an incandescent bulb, look at the very, very small amount of blue light and the massive increase in red, near infrared, and infrared light. So you can see that melatonin suppression is much more affected with LEDs and CFLs. And that's what all of us are switching to everywhere. So this is something really that we need to think about. This is just another way of depicting the light frequencies in various lighting sources. And this one actually I liked because it had the full spectrum sunlight. So blue light in and of itself is not a bad thing when in conjunction with other spectrums of light that make up the light spectrum that we receive under natural sunlight. But when we move away from firelight and natural sunlight to these artificially processed lights that save energy, we are chronically exposing ourselves not only to substances that stop melatonin production, but that high frequency blue light without the other spectrums of light in our eyes chronically all day also can create reactive oxygen species, free radicals in our eyes, that some doctors are saying is going to cause macular degeneration and possibly an entire generation of blindness due to our chronic exposure to these lights creating free radicals in our eyes all day long without any balance to that spectrum. This is something I think is so critical that we all need to pay attention to. This is what most people's offices look like. No natural lighting, high frequency blue light overhead flooding the office in addition to your devices. This is not a healthy environment to be in. I, in fact, equate processed and artificial lighting to processed artificial junk food. So just like we know sugar and these high caloric sweeteners, refined sweeteners, are not healthy for our bodies and cause a host of harmful things if we consume them in excess, so is true of lighting. Processed and artificial lighting is the same thing as processed and artificial junk food. So, knowing this, we need to do some things to protect ourselves. This is a collection of my devices at night. So we're not immune. We could have all the lights out and we could be using candlelight. But then if we're watching TV, if we're playing video games, if we're on our iPad or our iPhone, if we're on our Android phone, if we're using a device like a pad, an iPad, or other tablet, all of that is producing blue light that has been shown to affect melatonin production at night and create reactive oxygen species in the eyes. So one thing that I use that is extremely effective is an app, and this would be, no matter what phone you have, you can download the app Twilight. It's free. It will automatically adjust to your time zone to dial out the harmful frequencies of blue light after sunset. You can change that manually if you wish, and I do, so that Twilight is always taking out the blue light on my cell phone. And that is because even during the day, when I'm indoors, now I'm being chronically exposed to this blue light. I want to minimize that. So I'm going to dial it out of my phone all the time unless there's some critical color work that I need to do on that cell phone. I'm just going to dial out that blue light, and I'll get my full spectrum sunlight, which has the right amount of blue light combined with other frequencies of light that's the most helpful. Now, if you have an Android phone, you must use Twilight. There might be a couple other apps. However, if you have an iPhone, there is a built-in technology. So the people at Apple know about this, and they built into their devices, into the iPad and the iPhone, a feature called Night Shift. All you have to do is go to your brightness settings and enable Night Shift. And again, it will automatically dial out the blue light at night and return it when the sun rises. Again, you can go into those settings and you can ensure that that is on all the time, which is what I highly suggest that you do. So this is a picture of an iPhone with and without Night Shift enabled. So you can see on the left, you've got much more brighter and blue, and on the right, the blue light is dialed out. It's a little softer touch. I actually like that look a little better on my phone. Some people may need critical color work to be done, and they can't have that all the time. I would say use it all the time unless you really need to do something where you have to have full color rendering. Now, on your laptop, there are two pieces of software I highly recommend and I use myself. One is called Flux, F-L-U-X. Just get Flux or just getflux.com. It's totally free. You download it for your laptop. Again, you tell it what time zone you are in. Automatically will dial out that blue light after sunset, dial that blue light back up during the day. And again, you can change it so that even during the day, you take the blue light out of your screen. I use it obviously all day long on that setting. Now, what I have recently found is that Flux does not remove enough of the blue light for my preferences, but a software that was created specifically to take out as much blue light as possible. And in fact, you can take out all the blue light if you choose to, is Iris, IRIS. You can go to Iris. If you just type in Iris blue light, you'll find it. Go to Iris. I think it's iristech.co might be the website. That is now what I use. And you'll see it on the right screenshot here above. Both of these computer screens are running Iris right now. It's a far better program to dial exactly the color, the brightness, the amount of blue or the lack of blue that you would like. And you can go to incandescent settings and other settings, candlelight settings for the amount of blue light that is coming off your computer in terms of spectrum of light. I think it's a much better software. It costs an entire $2. I think it's really affordable for almost everybody. Go ahead and get yourself Iris. If you want the really biohacker version where you can do tons of extra things, it's $10. Just go for the $2 version of Iris. Works amazing. That's all I'm using on all my devices right now, except for my phone, but on all my computers I'm using Iris. So you may say, okay, great. I've got all my devices set. Maybe at home you've changed out your bulbs, as I have, from LED. Man, I switched out everything to LED. I actually saved a significant amount of money putting LED bulbs everywhere in my home. I have none left because I learned all of this. So I went back to halogen and compact fluorescent. However, I'm not always home. I don't live in the city, but if you look, this is a picture of me driving at night in the city where I live. So I'm not in the downtown area of any city, but look how bright it is out my window at night. This is maybe 7 p.m. in the winter. So even if you do all the right things on your devices and in your home, you are still going to be exposed to blue light at night, whether it's at work, going out to the restaurant, in your car. That is going to reduce or stop your production of melatonin at night. So what can we do about that? Here is Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he has found a solution to the problem. It's the light being exposed to various receptors in your eye that stops melatonin production. There are little receptors elsewhere on your body that can also stop melatonin, but the overwhelming majority is from the eye. So how do you stop your melatonin from being eroded at night? Is you do exactly this. And the same thing that Corey Hart said so long ago that must be absolutely true, wearing sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night. I wear my sunglasses at night so I can. Is coming back. He had it right all along, folks. Corey Hart, sunglasses at night. These are my Swannies blue blocking glasses. They block blue light at night. They will not allow any of that blue light around you to stop your melatonin production, and they help me sleep like a baby once again. I highly recommend you get a pair of Swannies. They're relatively inexpensive to take care of your eye health for the rest of your life, as well as your kids and your significant others and your moms. I got a pair for my mom and my family. Now, you can also go out to Amazon, and for $7.99, you can get a pair of Uvex blue blocking glasses. They look like safety glasses. They really cover more of the face and the eye than these Swannies. But you're not, and trust me, you are not going to get on an airplane, go out to dinner with your friends, go to a party, put them on at work at night. You're not going to do that because they really look like a pair of safety glasses where you should be in a laboratory. You want a pair of Swannies so you can go out and look relatively normal. So I might, maybe people think I'm a rock star. Probably not much chance of that. But I've worn these to the gym. I've worn them out. I wear them every single night that I'm out. And not one person has ever questioned why I'm wearing sunglasses. In fact, only 2 people have ever commented on them. And they said, oh my God, are those blue blocking glasses you're wearing? Are those Swannies? Can I try them on? That's the only response I've ever gotten. So at home, When I'm on my computer by myself, I will wear my $7.99 Uvex glasses. When I'm out at night, I will wear my Swannies. I am traveling right now in my hotel. I have the Swannies with me only. I highly recommend, if you want to sleep like a baby, if you want to protect your rejuvenation, your recovery, your looks, your beauty, create a little bit of anti-aging symmetry going on here, wear blue blocking glasses at night. That is my number one hack. The number one way that you can prevent erosion of melatonin at night and sleep like a baby. This is Thaddeus, guys. I hope that was helpful.